you doing? I was thinking with St. Patrick's Day right around the corner, it'd be cool to do something that was Irish themed. So today I'm going to be making some Irish beef stew with Guinness. And I'm going to try something that I've never done before, is I'm going to do it on the egg. I've made stew before, but I've never done it outside on the egg. And I'm going to see if it kind of imparts a little bit of smokiness to it. If not, it's just nice to be out here and outside cooking. It's just, today's a balmy 45 degrees. So we're going to be using my cast iron Dutch oven, and I'm getting the egg up to temperature right now. Let's take a look at some of the prep work I had done just before this. So I started with about 2.5 pounds of beef chuck roast, cut up into about 1.5 inch cubes. If you want to go more authentic, you can go with lamb. Then I coated them with about half a teaspoon of salt and about a tablespoon of flour. And then I cut up about 6 ounces of bacon. For me, that was about 5 strips. And then diced 2 onions. And then you'll need about half a cup each of celery and carrots, cut up into big 1-inch chunks. 1 pound of potatoes. I'm using baby gold, and I cut each one in half. About 4 cloves of minced garlic, 3 cups of chicken stock, about 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, 1 tablespoon of paprika, and 1 20-ounce can of Guinness Irish Stout. Oh, and don't forget some fresh herbs like parsley and thyme. All right, so now that I'm up to about 325, it's time to throw in the bacon. And I've had my Dutch oven in here heating up for about 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to let that all render down and crisp up a little bit, and then we're going to pull it, but leave all that bacon fat in there. I should also bring up the fact right away that this isn't really a traditional Irish stew. There's going to be some ingredients I'm going to use in here that wouldn't be found in an authentic Irish stew, like garlic and tomato paste. So let's just call this an authentic Irish stew inspired Irish beef stew. All right, so I've had it on for about 3-4 minutes, and now we're really starting to crisp up here. So I'm going to use this slotted wooden spoon to pull this bacon from here. Next up, we're going to sear the meat. So I'm going to put each of these in and brown up each of the sides. I'll throw them in and flip them. But I don't want to crowd the pan. If you crowd the pan, then you'll end up just steaming the beef. It won't really be browning. And I'm going to do this in batches. Maybe a minute or so on each side. This fire is pretty hot, so it smells amazing. And then we're going to pull them. Throw those into the bowl and go to the next batch. All right, so I got all that beef browned up, looking good. It smells even more amazing. In fact, one of my neighbors came over, wanted to know what I was cooking. Sometimes you get that when you're cooking outside. I'm thinking maybe I got to get a can of mace or something like that to find them off. Since I had the egg open for that long, temperature came up a little bit, so I'm letting the temperature come back down again before I throw the onions in. So I just recently crossed that 200 subscriber mark on my channel, and that's awesome. I really appreciate all you guys out there, honestly, for hitting that subscribe button. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. It means a lot. All right, so we're back down to about 400 degrees now. Let's throw in some onions. So I got a confession to make. It was at that point after I threw the onions in there that my memory card got full. So I guess that's what happens when you're trying to cook and film at the same time. I will try not to let that happen in the future. But what I did was basically I let the onions soften up a little bit, and then I threw in all the other ingredients except for the potatoes. Did get the Guinness, so without further ado, let's go right to that shot. 1 can of Guinness Irish Stout. It's not like this stuff's gonna turn out tasting like Guinness. All these flavors are gonna come together really nicely. Now we're gonna cover that up. I'm gonna close up the egg. And then I'm gonna let that simmer for about 2 hours. But in about 1 hour, I'm gonna open it up and throw those potatoes in there so that they can get done. I don't want them to break down too much. So at this point, I'm just gonna keep an eye on it and get that temperature to about 275. And that's where I want it to ride for the remainder of the time that it's in there, really. Okay, so it's been going for about an hour at 275, and now it's time to throw in those potatoes and a little parsley. Let's see what we got. Oh, that looks amazing. Let's get our potatoes in there. And these potatoes are going to help to thicken it up a little bit too, with all that starch. And now we got about half a cup of parsley. Okay, now we're going to cover it back up. Keep it at about 275 to 300 degrees. Let it go for about another hour. Okay, we've been on for about 2.5 hours now. We're good to go. It smells amazing out here. Let's get this off. All right, open it up. Oh man, you don't even know. You can see that the sauce is kind of thickened up some. Let's pull this off and get it inside. I cannot wait for this. I mean, it's just like, the beef just melts in your mouth. It's so good. And I also picked up some sourdough bread to go with it too, because you need something to sop up all those juices. That's just amazing. Well, thanks for tuning in. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. I'm gonna finish the rest of my stew. And again, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. I'll see you in the next video.